Today, I'm going to be comparing the #1 credit union to the #3 biggest credit union in a head-to-head match to see which one's going to come out on top. Now, I'm currently an active member with both of these credit unions. Here's my 2 cards to prove it. So, because I have these memberships and I have experience with both of these credit unions, I'm going to be able to give you a lot better review than a lot of other people. In this video, I'm going to be comparing the eligibility to join, their loans, their checking and savings accounts, the mobile and online experience, the in-person experience, and then last but not least, their credit card. And just like in the world of credit unions, joining the right credit union is going to boost your finances. Subscribing to this channel is going to level up your finances because I'm dropping some of the best finance videos every single week. Now, before we break down which credit union is actually better, let's get into some numbers that'll help you understand these credit unions a little bit better. Now, like I say, Navy Federal is the #1 biggest credit union in the world, while PenFed is #3. Navy Federal has 13 million members, but PenFed only has 2.9. And I say only 2.9 million, like that's not a huge amount. That's still more than 99% of other credit unions by millions of members. But Navy Federal is going to be more than 4 times the size, so they're going to have a little bit more money flowing around. Navy Federal has 350 in-person branches, while PenFed only has 46. So if you value in-person banking, there's most likely going to be a Navy Federal a lot closer to you than a PenFed. Alright, now that you understand that, let's get into our first criteria, which is the eligibility to join Navy Federal. You're going to have to be in the military yourself, or be a family member of someone in the military, or have a roommate that's in the military. Family members that are in the military that can get you in include parents, grandparents, spouses, siblings, grandchildren, children, or household members. So like I said, if you have a roommate that's in Navy Federal, you can get in too. All you have to do is just prove that you have the same address. Now, to get into PenFed Credit Union, unlike the name suggests, you don't have to be part of the Pentagon to get in. Literally anyone can join. So that means that you can go on your computer and go on their website right now and be a member of this credit union within like 5 minutes. And for that reason, I'm obviously going to have to give this point to PenFed. So let's start off about talking about these credit unions' checkings accounts. So both of these credit unions have free checking accounts that don't have any monthly maintenance fees, deposits, so you can just open it up and leave it if you want. But for this video, we're going to be focused on their premium checking account, which is going to be Navy Federal's flagship checking and PenFed's Access America checking. And the thing that I really love about both of these checkings accounts is they're actually going to pay you money to have your money in the checking account. And 99% of other checking accounts aren't going to do this. And even though it's not that big of an amount, we're going to take any free money we can get. So let's start with Navy Federal's flagship checking. So for this checking account, you're going to get 3.5 APY if you have $0 to $10,000, 0.4 APR if you have $10,000 to $25,000, and then 0.45 APR if you have over $25,000. But if you're getting this checking account, you want to make sure that you have a daily average of at least $1,500 every single month. And the reason for that is you're not going to get this extra APR if you have under $1,500 every day, and you're going to have to pay a monthly service fee of $10. But again, if you don't have over $1,500, there's a lot of free checking account options. So to get that higher APR and avoid paying that monthly fee, make sure you're going to have at least $1,500 every day. So let's move over to PenFed's Access America checking account. With this checking account, you're going to earn 0.15% when you have a daily balance of less than $20,000, and then 0.35% if you have a balance between $20,000 to $50,000. So you're going to be getting a little bit less interest with this checking account, but we're talking about pennies on the dollars here. We care a lot more about the savings account interest than we do about the checking account. And this checking account does come with a $10 service fee, but there's 2 ways to waive this. Number 1 is to have direct deposits of $500 or more, or number 2 is to maintain a daily balance of $500 or more. So instead of having to have $1,500 as your daily average, you're only going to have $500, which is a lot easier. And another bonus that they throw in there is you're going to get paid 2 days earlier when you set up direct deposits. So this one's a little bit of a toss-up. If you have more money going into your checking account, then Navy Federal's checking account's going to make more sense. But if you like getting paid 2 days early and you don't have as much money going into your checking account, PenFed's going to make more sense. So because this is kind of a toss-up, I'm going to give each of these credit unions half a star. Now let's look at one of the most important things when looking at a bank account, which is the savings account. So Navy Federal savings account, which is called their share savings account, is only going to give you 0.25% interest for the money that you have sitting in there. While if we look at PenFed's premium online savings account, that's going to give you 3% for all your money sitting in there. So just to give you an example of how much extra money you'd be earning with PenFed, if you put in $10,000 into their savings account, after 1 year you'd have $10,304, where if you put that same $10,000 into Navy Federal savings account, you'd only have $10,025. So for the savings account, I'm definitely going to have to give a point to PenFed. Now, if you do choose a bank with Navy Federal, you're not completely screwed because you can always open up a high yield savings account for free that's going to give you a really good rate. So for this next category, we're going to be comparing something a little bit more exciting, and that's their credit cards. Now, both of these credit cards are notorious for having some of the highest credit limits in all of the credit card game. And the reason that this is important, even if you don't care about that high credit limit, is that 1, it's going to keep your total credit utilization protection down, which is going to mean that you're going to have a higher credit score. And two, when you apply for other credit cards, they usually look at what the highest limit another credit card company gives you to base the credit limit that they're going to give you off of that. And if they see that you have another credit card company that's trusted you with a really high credit card limit, they're more likely to give you a higher credit limit too. So as far as credit limits go, these credit cards are pretty simple and they're both going to give you super high rates. So we'll start off by comparing PenFed's Gold card to Navy Federal's Platinum card. Both of these credit cards don't give you any rewards, so these are going to be their lowest tier cards and not really cards that I recommend getting. The Platinum card is just going to give you low APR at a little bit over 11%, but you should never be carrying a balance on a credit card anyway, so I'm not going to really pay attention to that. If we look at PenFed's Gold credit card, you're going to have to pay 0 interest on balance transfers for the first 15 months, and you also get cell phone protection. In my opinion, neither of these credit cards really matter. They're both the lowest tier credit cards and they both don't come with any rewards. I guess I'd have to go with PenFed's Gold card because it gives you that cell phone protection and it also gives you 0 APR for the first 15 months on balance transfers. But in my opinion, neither of these cards are worth getting, so we're not going to pay too much attention to that. So let's move on to some more exciting credit cards that are going to give you some rewards. And these credit cards from both of these credit unions are both my favorite cards that they have, because they give you rewards and they also come with 0 annual fee. So we're going to be comparing Navy Federal's More Rewards to PenFed's Platinum Rewards. These are both 0 annual fee cards, but unfortunately the More Rewards credit card doesn't give you a sign-up bonus while card does. PenFed's Platinum Rewards card is going to give you 1,500 points when you spend $1,500 within the first 90 days of opening up the card, which depending on how you redeem it, it's going to be valued around $150. So as far as rewards go, with the More Rewards card, you're going to get 3 points back on restaurants and food delivery, 3 points back on supermarkets, and then 3 points back on gas and transit, as well as 1 point back on everything else. And then a benefit that comes with it is roadside assistance. Now with PenFed's credit card, you're going to get 5 points back on gas station and EV charging, 3 points at supermarkets, which include Walmart and Target, 3 points at restaurants, TV streaming, cable, and then radio, as well as 1 point back on everything else. And then like every single one of PenFed's cards, they're going to come with cell phone protection when you pay your cell phone bill with one of their credit cards. So when comparing these two credit cards, I'm going to have to say the PenFed's card's better, because you're getting rewards for all the same categories, but PenFed's going to give you 5 points instead of 3% back on gas stations. And also they're going to cover electric vehicle charging, which the More Rewards card doesn't. You're also going to get that $150 sign-up bonus. And one more thing that they throw in there is 0 interest on balance transfers and purchases for the first year. So I'm going to definitely say that PenFed's credit card's better than the More Rewards credit card. Now let's go ahead and look at their catch-all credit cards. These are going to be credit cards that fit into your credit card setup and cover all your miscellaneous purchases to give you a low amount of cash back. And that credit card for Navy Federal is going to be their Cash Rewards credit card. And right now they have a really nice sign-up bonus where if you spend $3,000 within 3 months, you're going to get $300 back. That's a lot of threes, I know. And another thing that comes with this card is free Walmart Plus, which I don't think is a big deal. I don't know a lot of people that have Walmart Plus, but if you do use that, then I guess that's some extra value for you. But if we compare that to PenFed's Cash Rewards credit card, you're going to get a lot lower sign-up bonus of only $100 when you spend $1,500 within the first 3 months. So you're going to get quite a bit more in the sign-up bonus in Navy Federal's credit card than you are with PenFed's credit card. As far as rewards go, with PenFed's credit card, you're going to earn 1.5 to 2% back. You're going to earn that 1.5% back if you're not an Honors Advantage member, and if you are an Honors Advantage member, then you're going to earn that 2% back. To be an Honors Advantage member, all you have to do is be in the military currently, or have that Access America checking account that I talked about earlier. But if we compare that to the Cash Rewards card, you're going to get a flat 1.75% back on every single one of your purchases. And I'm going to have to give this to Navy Federal's Cash Rewards credit card, just because that sign-up bonus is so much bigger than PenFed's. Now let's get to the most exciting part of this video, when we're going to compare these two credit unions' premium travel credit cards. On one hand, we have Navy Federal's Flagship Rewards credit card, while on the other hand, we have PenFed's Pathfinder's credit card. So let's first start out comparing the sign-up bonuses with these credit cards. With the Flagship credit card, you're going to get 40,000 points, which is a $400 value, when you spend $3,500 within 90 days of opening the account. Plus, they throw in free Amazon Prime, which is valued at $140, which is a lot easier to use than that Walmart Plus subscription with their other credit card, because who doesn't have Amazon Prime? With the Pathfinder Rewards card, you're going to get 50,000 points when you spend $3,000 within the first 90 days. So these sign-up bonuses are really, really similar. You're going to have to spend around the same amount of money, and you're getting very similar value, both around $500 for opening up these credit cards. So now let's talk about the annual fees with these credit cards. With the Flagship credit card, you're going to have to pay $49 every single year. And unfortunately, there's no way to waive this. You're just going to have to pay this. With the Pathfinder credit card, you're going to have to pay a $95 annual fee, but it's really easy to waive this. All you have to do is be a PenFed Honors Advantage member. And like I said, to be an Honors Advantage member, all you have to do is to have their Access America checking account. And like I said earlier in this video, there's no monthly maintenance fee as long as you have $500 sitting in the account. So as far as rewards go for these credit cards, the flagship credit card is going to give you 3 points on travel and then 2 points on everything else. Now that 3 points on travel is really nice, but 2 points on everything else is really good too. Because you can get this card and then you're not going to need a catch-all credit card because this is already going to give you 2 points on everything. Now if we look at PenFed's Pathfinder, you're going to get 4 points on travel if you're an Honors Advantage member, and if you're not, you're going to get 3 points on travel. But most likely if you're getting this credit card, you're going to be an Honors Advantage member because you're not going to want to pay that $95 annual fee. And you're also going to get 1.5 points on everything else. Because these are both premium travel credit cards, they both come with TSA pre-check and Global Entry to help you get through those airlines faster. So between these two travel credit cards, I'm going to have to go with PenFed's Pathfinder Rewards card. And the reason why is because if you're an Honors Advantage member, you're going to get everything with the 0 annual fee. With the flagship rewards card, you're going to have to pay that $49 annual fee no matter what. Now when deciding between PenFed and Navy Federal's credit cards, there's a couple things you got to keep in mind. Number one is that all of Navy Federal's credit card points are going to redeem for 1 cent per point, but for PenFed, they're going to redeem for 1 cent per point for travel. If you redeem it for cash back, it's only going to redeem at 0.85 cents per point. And one thing that I don't like about PenFed's points is they expire after 5 years, while Navy Federal's points never expire. So Navy Federal's points are more valuable, but you're going to be earning PenFed points at a higher rate. This is probably going to be a little bit controversial, but overall, I'm going to have to give this point to the PenFed's credit cards, just because their Pathfinder credit card is so good and you're not going to have to pay an annual fee. And also, you're going to get so much value from the Platinum Rewards card, which is also a 0 annual fee card. Now, let's move on to the next category, which is probably the most important thing about a credit union, because the number one reason you're joining a credit union is to get those lower rates on loans. And while both of these credit unions probably have the best rates in the world, one has slightly lower rates. We're going to be looking at their auto loans and then their personal loans. Let's start with PenFed's personal loans. You can get limits all the way up to $50,000, and the APR is going to be as low as 8.99%. Also, there's no early payoff penalties, which is one of the most important things when you're getting a personal loan. Now, when we look at Navy Federal's loans, they're actually going to be the exact same thing. They're going to be as low as 8.99%, and you can also get to up to $50,000. So this one's a complete draw. But when we look at their auto loans, that's when Navy Federal starts to take off a little bit. If you're looking to buy a new car, PenFed's going to give you a rate as low as 4.74%, while Navy Federal is going to give you a rate as low as 4.54%. And these are both super good rates, but Navy Federal is just going to give you a little bit lower. If you're looking to buy or refinance a used car, PenFed's going to give you a rate as low as 5.44%. And it's also the same with Navy Federal. They're also going to give you a rate as low as 5.44%. So their rates are very, very similar, but if you're buying a new car, Navy Federal is just going to give you a little bit lower rate. And also, if you build up a good relationship with Navy Federal, I think it's a little bit easier to get approved for their auto loans. But the nice thing about both of these credit unions' loans is you're not going to have to require any documentation for a personal or an auto loan. So you're not going to have to go through the hassle of proving your income and uploading a bunch of papers. So for the loans category, it's very close, but I'm going to have to give it to Navy Federal. Now let's talk about the last category, and probably one of the most underrated categories when choosing a bank, and that's the online and mobile experience. So first, let's start with PenFed. I've had a really bad experience with PenFed's mobile app. I know a lot of people say that there's no problem with it and it's fine, but in my opinion, it's just really outdated, and a credit union of this size should have a lot better app. There's a couple of times where I'll just randomly get kicked out, and they do a lot more maintenance, and a lot of times I'm just not able to log in. But with Navy Federal's app, it's a lot more modern, and I've never once had a problem with it. Check deposits are super easy. It's really easy to pay your bills, and there's just everything you need, and it's super simple. Also, PenFed doesn't work with Plate. If you're unfamiliar with Plate, it's a software that connects a lot of financial institutions. So if you want to connect your stock brokerage to your bank account, most likely Plate's going to be the one doing that. But PenFed doesn't even work with Plate. So when I tried to transfer funds from PenFed to my stock brokerage, I couldn't connect my credit union to it. I had to go and put in the debit card information, which isn't too big of a hassle, but it's just kind of frustrating that it doesn't work with Plate yet. And I had a similar problem with my tax return. I did it through TurboTax, which is owned by Credit Karma now, and they use Plate to transfer your tax return money from Credit Karma into your bank account. And because PenFed didn't work, I had to transfer it to a separate bank account and then into my PenFed account from that separate bank account. So there's just a lot of steps, and you don't really want that. You want your mobile banking to be as simple and easy as possible. And I know a lot of people are going to say that they've never had a problem with PenFed's mobile or online banking, but I personally have had a lot of problems, and Navy Federal has never given me a problem. So I'm definitely going to give this star to Navy Federal. So out of these two credit unions, I'd probably go with PenFed if you don't care as much about the mobile and online experience, and you want to get a little bit more value out of your credit cards. But I'd go with Navy Federal if you want a little bit simpler experience and you want a little bit lower rates. I used to have PenFed as my primary credit union, but after I opened up the Navy Federal account and saw how much simpler it is to use it, I just fell in love with Navy Federal, and now I'm using them as my primary bank. I used to have PenFed's Access America checking account, but all I had to do was send them one email asking to downgrade it to their free easy everyday checking, and it happened within like a day. So PenFed's customer service was really good with that. and I've always had a positive experience with PenFed's customer service, so I'm just going to keep my free PenFed checking account open, but continue to use Navy Federal as my primary bank account. And while PenFed's credit cards are definitely good, I think there's a lot of good options out there, so you don't really need these credit cards. For example, the AAA Travel Advantage credit cards can give you everything that the PenFed cards are going to give you, but the cashback's going to redeem at 1 cent per point, and the rewards never expire. I know it seems like I'm just bashing PenFed right now, but I still think they're better than 99% of other big banks like America or Wells Fargo. So if you can't get into Navy Federal, I would definitely go with PenFed because they're the second best option. If you guys want to learn more about these credit unions, I've made separate videos dedicated to breaking down their loans and credit cards, so go check those out after this video.